on, guys? Welcome back to Trapfish Aquatics. Today I'm working on building the Aquaterrarium or Paludarium. There's many different names for it, but that's what I'm working on today. I am filming this after I started building because I shot a bunch of videos before and I also shot an intro, and for whatever reason they all got corrupt, so I had to reformat the card in my phone. So hopefully this saves. As long as this saves, I'm going to go out and I'm going to show you guys the progress that I've made and the pieces. I'm going to talk about how I built them and how I put it together, and then I'll show you a little bit of assembly. I was going to go out and get the stones today and try and hand pick some stones that would make this thing look really cool, but unfortunately we woke up this morning to this mess. So can't do that because we got about 8 inches of snow on the ground, so I got to wait for that to melt off before I can go get the rocks and stuff. So let me go out in the kitchen and we'll talk about that a little bit, and I'll show you where we're at. Alright, so this is the project I'm working on now. This is the Aquaterrarium. As you can see, 20-gallon tank. I already have the base wall put in. So the material that I'm using is a corrugated plastic board. So you basically, it looks like cardboard, how it's got the little spaces in between, so you just cut one side and then allows you to fold it, but it still stays together. So that's how I did this here. And then it's siliconed in on the front and back of this, as well as the sides here. So that is pretty much locked into place. And what's going to happen now is I have shelves and walls built that are going to attach to the back of the aquarium, and water is going to get pumped up into those. It's going to come out in waterfalls and fall back down into the bottom. The pump sits behind this, and there is window screen, the plastic window screen that is siliconed over these holes so that water flows through, and it's just a constant cycle. Waterfalls fall in the front, the pump draws it through the screen. There's going to be lava rock and stuff in the back there, and then it's going to pump it up to the top of the waterfall. It's just going to be a continuous cycle. So let me show you some of the shelves that I have here. I might even be able to put them in place to give you guys a quick idea of what it's going to look like. But here's the walls. And basically these are going to go in here. About like this. Right, roughly. So that's how those are going to look. I know you might have a little bit of trouble seeing it. Like that. Right. So from there, what's going to happen is I have the main waterfall boxes that are going to go inside here. Let me adjust this camera down so you guys can see a little better. Alright, that's a little bit better for you guys. So I have the main waterfall boxes that are going to go in. Now the silicone on these is still a bit, okay, it's tack free, it's good. So this is the one that's going to go up in the top up here. So the little waterfall outlet right here fits right down into that slot. With the tape on there, it's a little hard, but it fits right down in there in that slot and kind of sit kind of like that. It's going to get silicone glued into the back. And I have the same thing for the other one. This one has a little bit of a wider spout, and it's going to sit in the other box the same way. I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom, and then the pump is going to have the hoses split and come up through the bottom of these. So this is the pump right here. This is a 190 gallon an hour pump, and I'm basically going to cut this line, put a T in it, and then these hoses are just going to run up through the bottom of this. It's going to pump water into it, it's going to fill up and overflow out, making a waterfall. You know, pretty simple. From there, I have 2 raised pools. So essentially what's going to happen with these is I'm going to put rocks and stuff in here, and I'm going to create a little bit of a raised lip here so that way it holds water, you know, just a little bit, not a lot. And this box is going to sit right here, like so that the water falls off that top box into this box and then down into the lower water holding reservoir. And this one is going to sit right here. Now I can't let these go because they'll just fall in, but it's going to spill off to the side where this one spills off to the front. So we're going to get some good circulation in there. So once all this stuff is siliconed into place, and I get the pumps and everything secure, then I can worry about getting the rocks and stuff that I need to go ahead and start siliconing the rocks in place, and then I can get the lava rock and filtration system set up in the back. And over here is where the pump is going to sit, back behind this. So I'm actually going to build a little lid that goes down in on top of this so that I can fill it with soil so I can plant plants in there. I'm also going to be putting plants in up around the waterfall boxes up here, as well as down in here on the sides of these waterfall boxes. So overall, I think that's going to look pretty good. I'm going to be trying to use some anubias down here in the water, as well as growing some terrarium-based plants like ferns and like mosses up over the stonescape up in the top. So that's pretty much it for right now. I'm going to try and shoot some video of me putting this stuff all in and together, and that'll be the end of this video, and I'll make a future video for me putting all the rocks and hardscape in, and then I will do a video of adding all the plants and setting it up, and it'll be a little 3-part series. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this thing together, so just follow along and let's do it. Alright, so right now we've got, let me turn the camera a little bit this way. There we go. So right now I've got the upper walls siliconed in place. I'm just waiting for them to dry. They are tack free in about 30 minutes. So basically what that means is it's solid enough to start adding other stuff. Now I'm not going to stand this tank upright until it's completely solidified, which probably won't be until tomorrow, 12 to 24 hours. So the next step after this becomes tack free and I'm able to work with it a little bit is I'm going to be adding the waterfall boxes. So basically not the upper one but the lower one that catches and makes a little pool. I'm going to be adding these in, and that's got a little bit of wet silicone on it. So basically the way these go is I'm just going to set them in here, set them in place, and I'm just going to silicone the back of this to here, and yeah, that'll pretty much be that. So I'll put this one in and the other one, and after that I still have enough room that I can reach down in here. I left myself enough hose I can pull that out, hook up the waterfall boxes and slide them in, and they're going to get siliconed against the back glass. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The back glass and the notch here, so that way it's all one piece. That way the waterfall box actually helps hold the walls up, even though I think the walls are going to be fine by themselves. But that is the plan for right now. So I'm going to let them go for a little while, let them set a little, and then we'll go ahead and we'll add them waterfall boxes in. Okay, so everything is fairly well dry. Well, it's not completely cured, but it's tack-free, so it's been about a half hour. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting the waterfall boxes in, the pump, and all of the other stuff like that. And I already did this, and then after the thought about it, I realized I should have done it on camera. So I'm going to show you guys with another piece, the vinyl tubing. That's this here. If you saw them before, they were coiled up real tight up top here. And there's a way to easily uncoil that. And this also works for electrical cords, like on the pump that I have back here. I'll go get it and I'll show you. So I use this to bend this cord. So now it's basically formed to that angle so it goes straight up. And all you have to do is take some hot water and submerge either the vinyl tubing or the cord or anything for a couple seconds. Now, this isn't super hot. You know, you can put your fingers in it for probably like 3 seconds before it starts hurting. So, I mean, it's hot water. So, I'm going to show you an example here. So, this is a piece of vinyl tubing. It is, you know, pretty well solid as a ring, right? So I'm just going to submerge this into the water here for a couple seconds. Just get it to fill with water. There we go. And I'm just going to hold it there for a couple seconds. And what's going to happen is it's going to warm that tube up and allow it to become a lot more pliable. And then while it's hot, if you need to form it to something specific, you can actually take it and manually bend it to that, and then run it under cold water, and it will hold its shape. Okay. So I can actually see, you guys could probably see it too, the ring of that tubing is expanding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it out of the water now. Right, so it's loosened up a lot. But if I was to leave this in here and just leave it completely submerged, it would open right up. So I'm just going to leave that submerged for a little bit. It was a very tight coil, and there wasn't a whole lot of length there, so I didn't think it was going to open up that much, but we'll leave it in there for a couple seconds. I'll show you guys what it does. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the pump installed in here, and then I'm going to attach these waterfall boxes, and that will pretty much be it for the bare skeleton of the system. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So here we go. Alright guys, so it's pretty much together now. Everything's siliconed in place. I'm just waiting for it to set a little bit, and then I'll stand the tank up and check it out, make sure everything's level, and make sure everything's where I want it to be. From this angle it looks like everything is. So that's pretty much that. I gotta wait at least 12 hours before I can run any water in it. Maybe less, because the silicone that I put on this is very thin and most of it's already been cured for 24 hours. So one thing I did want to show you real quick is this piece of tubing here. You can see how much it's really opened up there. As opposed to being up in a coil like this, it's now very pliable, very flexible. So you can use warm water to loosen up your hoses and stuff so you can get them to fit properly. But that's pretty much it for right now, until I can get this thing stood up with some water in it, and then I'll show you guys it run. I know I was concerned with that pump, since it's 180 gallons an hour, if the flow was going to be too high. So I did take it out on my tank and test it with the splitter, because you got to figure if it's 180 gallons in a single line, when you put a splitter on it and put 2 lines, it should bring it down to about 80 gallons a piece. And it seems like it did do that. The flow is much better. Originally, when I first hooked it up, it was shooting with the hose pointed up like this. It was shooting water up about this high, and with it being dual, where you got water coming out of both ends, it's only coming up about this high. So I think that's really going to work out. I'm happy with the way it's come off so far. So we'll give it a little bit of time and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so I got it standing upright. It's pretty much done as far as the base skeleton of the build. I did build one last thing here off camera, and that's this little tray. And if you're wondering what this is for, this actually goes back here as an access panel for the pump, so I can access that if I ever need to while this thing is built. And I made it a little tray, that way I can put either dirt or some kind of planted aquarium soil or something in here, and I can grow plants and moss and stuff in this, as well as areas throughout the rest of the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in right now. So this just comes over here like this, slips right in there like that, and that's that. So like I said, I'm going to end up getting some lava rock and dumping it down there in the bottom and the back, basically just to work as the filtration. And then I'm probably going to take a couple other pieces of the board that I have here, cut them and silicone them in places. That way I can add, like I said, the soil, so that I can put terrarium plants in here. But aside from that, this build is pretty much over. So let me know what you guys think. I'm excited to make the rest of the video and finish building this tank out and seeing what it looks like in the end. So go ahead and slap a like on the video, leave a comment, talk about it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.